Flor y Canto presents.
So here's a story you might know, and you might not know it, but this is how it goes. There's this guy called Peter, and Peter's friends with this guy called Jesus. Peter is friends with Jesus, and Peter tells Jesus that he loves him 3 times. But before that, he told Jesus he was never going to deny him, and then he did so. Okay, so this is how it goes. Jesus is friends with Peter, and Jesus tells Peter, Peter, you're going to deny me. You're going to say no to me. You're going to say that I don't exist to you in your life 3 times. And so Peter says, no, that's not going to happen. I swear that's not going to happen. And then what happens is soldiers come to get Jesus because they're going to take him to condemn him, and then they're going to crucify him, and then he's going to die and he's going to have his resurrection. But at that moment when the soldiers come to get him, there's a bystander who comes and asks Peter, do you know this guy? Referring to Jesus. And so Peter, there's actually a bonfire going on at that time, and he's outside in the courtyard, and he says, I don't know that guy. I don't like that guy. And then so the bystander asks the second time, I swear I saw you. Are you sure? You don't know him? And so then Peter, what he says again, he says, no, I don't know him. And then the bystander asks one last time, I really did see you with him. You know him, right? And so Peter at this time, he gets frustrated and he says, no, I don't know him. I have nothing to do with him. Bam. And then you make eye contact with Jesus. Can you imagine if that was you? Can you imagine, put yourself in those shoes. You just said no to Jesus 3 times, and you swore you love him. You swore you told him that you thought he was the world to you. You just told him you would never fail him. Bam, you failed him. Why does that happen? And why does that exist? It's definit't not a surprise to Jesus. Why? Because Jesus predicted it. He told Peter that would happen to him. Fast forward, that's not how the story ends. Peter was not at the resurrection. Peter was not at the crucifixion. The next time that Peter saw Jesus was also in front of a bonfire again. This time Jesus had resurrected, and he went to go see Peter and other fishermen who were with him, and they had breakfast per se. So they had breakfast, and then Jesus sees him on this bonfire again. Peter probably feels crazy bad because he just said no. The last time he saw him was in front of a bonfire. Now Jesus is in front of him, in front of a bonfire again, and then he has to confront what he was scared of last time, which was saying no. Kind of like it happens to us when we do stuff that we're not supposed to, and then we go back to church or we go back to pray to God, and we're just like, okay, crap, what do I do now? Anyways, what Jesus did is he was honest. He said, Peter, do you love me? So guess what Peter said? Peter said, yes. So that's the English version, but to put it into better context, here's the Greek version, which is the original version. There's 2 words for love in Greek. Well, there's a couple, but in this case, these 2 apply. Phileo and agape. Agape means I'll give my life for you. I will die for you. Phileo means you're my brother. And that's how it is. And I like it like that. But I love you, and I love you a lot. And you're my brother. I'm not ready to die, to finish for you. So this is how it goes. Jesus asked Peter, Peter, agape? And then Peter replies, Phileo. And then Jesus asks again, agape? And then Peter replies, Phileo. And after Peter replies, every time Jesus says, feed my sheep, feed my sheep. So on this 3rd time though, Jesus asks a question a little different. He says, Peter, Phileo? And at that point, Peter says, Phileo. And Jesus replies with the same thing at the end, saying, feed my sheep. If God were to ask you, Phileo or agape, which one would you say? You'd probably say Phileo, maybe, hopefully, maybe. Hopefully you can say agape, but I honestly wouldn't mind if you say Phileo. But because it's honesty. No matter which one you would say, it's definitely the most virtuous thing to say any of the other. But here's the challenge. Here's the point of this. God is a decision. Why? Because God is love, so love is a decision. And if your Phileo is real, if you are to say, Jesus, you know what, I just do want to love you, then let it be real. Don't break it into two. What do I mean? You can't, you don't like to lie to yourself, and you don't like to lie to others. So God doesn't really like to be lied to either. So here's the truth. Here's my truth. Decide for yourself and choose. Make it simple for yourself. If you are going to Phileo, if you decide to love God, and you say, I want to, what does that mean? You want to do the will of God, and the will of God would be many things. It's not necessarily one straight line. It's a banquet of love to say, I want to choose to do right in my life, and I want to live a life that will actually fill me and make me feel happy and make me feel purposeful. So if you want that, I dare you to choose it, but choose it daily. Choose it one day for a lifetime choice. And if you're not gonna choose it, I will do you the favor. Don't choose it. Ouch, that actually kind of hurts me, but the reality is that it doesn't hurt God as much. What do I mean? In the manner that He wants you to be honest. Honest with your decisions, because what happens? What if you say you do love God, but then it happens like Peter, you don't. Because whenever He asks you to do something for Him, you say no. So why don't we clear this up? Make it honest from the beginning. And go ahead and say, God, I do want to. I don't know how to. I want to love you. This isn't to discourage you, because this story ended like this. Peter said, yes, I do love you, Jesus. I really do. I just couldn't do it to the level that I told you I would. So here's the share of my story. Love God to the best of your ability, but be honest with Him. And if you're going to choose to live this life with Him, make it a decision. Make it a day in, year out, decisive of life. Your life will be more peaceful. Why? Because you've made a decision. I dare you not to live a double life. It's just not worth it. Not because of anything. You don't feel happy. And don't do the favor to God to not lie. So even if you say Phileo, applause to you. That's awesome. That's what Peter did. Peter is an amazing figure in Christianity, and he was honest. But if you're gonna say Phileo, make it a decisive Phileo. Make it a forever Phileo. To love God to the best of your ability.
Flor y Canto.